Every human being who has ever lived has done something that seems impossible. For thousands of years, humans have built cities, crossed oceans, discovered continents, and unlocked the secrets of nature. We have created machines that can travel beyond Earth. We have built civilizations that survive for thousands of years. And yet, every single day, every human being on this planet does the same strange thing. We surrender. We close our eyes. We become unaware of the world around us. For nearly 8 hours, our minds disappear into a mysterious state where we cannot fully control our thoughts, our bodies, or our surroundings. A state where a predator could approach. A danger could appear. A disaster could begin. And we would not even know. But the strangest part is not that humans sleep. The strangest part is that nature designed us this way. Evolution spent millions of years creating one of the most intelligent creatures on Earth, only to force that creature to become completely vulnerable for almost 1/3 of its life. Why? Why would survival itself depend on something that looks like a weakness? Why would the human brain, the most complex object we know of in the universe, need to shut itself away every night? And what if the hours we believe we lose while sleeping are actually the reason humanity became what it is today? Because hidden behind this simple daily habit is one of the oldest mysteries of human existence. A mystery our ancestors tried to understand long before science had answers. To ancient civilizations, sleep was not just rest. It was a journey, a doorway, a mysterious state between life and death. Some believed dreams were messages from another world. Some believed the sleeping mind could travel where the waking body could not. And across every continent, every culture eventually faced the same question. Why does every human being need to enter this strange invisible world every night? But the answer is far more surprising than our ancestors could have imagined. Because sleep was never a waste of time. It was never a weakness. It may have been one of humanity's greatest survival tools. Before we uncover why, we need to travel back to a time when darkness was dangerous, humans were not the dominant species, and falling asleep could mean risking everything. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind ordinary things, subscribe to Hidden Origin and join us as we explore the mysteries that shaped humanity. Because every discovery begins with a question. For modern humans, sleep often feels like the safest moment of the day. We enter a comfortable room. We lock our doors. We turn off the lights. And we trust that when we close our eyes, the world will still be waiting for us when we wake up. But for most of human history, sleep was not a peaceful escape. It was a dangerous gamble. Imagine living thousands of years ago, before houses had walls strong enough to protect you, before cities existed, before artificial lights pushed back the darkness. When the sun disappeared, the world changed. The forests became unfamiliar. Every sound carried a warning. Every shadow could hide a threat. For our ancestors, night was not simply the absence of daylight. It was a completely different world. A world filled with predators searching for their next meal. A world where cold temperatures could become deadly. A world where a moment of carelessness could decide whether someone survived until morning. And yet, every night, humans did something that seems almost impossible. They slept. But how? How did early humans survive when sleep made them vulnerable? The answer begins with one of humanity's oldest challenges. Finding safety in an unsafe world. Long before humans built houses, our ancestors had to carefully choose where they rested. A sleeping place was not chosen randomly. It had to provide protection. It needed to hide them from danger. It needed access to resources. And most importantly, it needed to give them a chance to wake up alive. Some early humans slept in caves. Others rested under rock shelters or near carefully controlled fires. But these places were never just homes. They were survival systems. A cave was not simply a place to escape the weather. It was a barrier between humans and the unknown darkness outside. Fire became one of humanity's greatest allies. It provided warmth. It created light. And it helped keep dangerous animals away. But fire alone was not enough. Because humans were not the strongest creatures on Earth. They were not the fastest. They did not have the sharpest claws or the strongest teeth. Their greatest weapon was something invisible. Cooperation. Early humans discovered something powerful. A person sleeping alone was vulnerable. But a group sleeping together was harder to defeat. Families and communities formed protective bonds. Some members could rest while others remained alert. This simple behavior may have changed the future of our species. Because humans were never built to survive alone. We survived because we watched over each other. We survived because we shared danger. We survived because, even during the most vulnerable moments of life, we trusted another human being. But there was another mystery. If sleep was so dangerous, why didn't humans evolve to need less of it? Why didn't nature simply create a species that could remain awake all the time? After all, being awake meant being alert. Being awake meant being able to find food, avoid danger, and protect yourself. So why did evolution choose a path that required humans to spend thousands of hours unconscious? The answer would remain hidden for thousands of years. And while ancient humans feared the dangers of sleep, they also discovered something strange about the sleeping mind. Something that made them wonder if sleep was not a weakness, but a doorway. In many ancient cultures, the night was not just a time of darkness. It was a time of mystery. A time when the boundary between the known world and the unknown seemed to disappear. People began asking questions. Why do we dream? Where do our thoughts go when we sleep? Why do we wake up with memories of places we have never visited and experiences that never happened? These questions would shape entire civilizations. And the way humans understood sleep would reveal something fascinating about our relationship with the unknown. But before ancient civilizations looked to the spiritual world for answers, our ancestors had already learned the most important lesson of all. Sleep was not something humans survived despite. It was something humans survived because of. And hidden inside this strange daily ritual was a secret that would eventually help transform a vulnerable species into the most powerful force on Earth. If you're enjoying this journey so far, a quick like helps Hidden Origin uncover more incredible stories. For thousands of years, humans faced a mystery every single night. They understood hunger. They understood danger. They understood the changing seasons. But sleep was different. When a person fell asleep, something strange happened. The body remained. The eyes closed. The breathing continued. But the person seemed to disappear into another world. And for ancient humans, this raised one of the greatest questions they had ever asked. Where do we go when we sleep? Long before laboratories existed, before scientists could observe brain activity, ancient civilizations tried to explain the invisible world of sleep. They looked at dreams. They searched for meaning. They wondered if the sleeping mind was receiving messages from somewhere beyond ordinary human experience. Because dreams did not feel like imagination. They felt real. A person could wake up remembering places they had never visited. They could see people who were no longer alive. They could experience fear, joy, and entire stories that disappeared the moment they opened their eyes. To ancient people, this was not just a random activity of the mind. It was a mystery waiting to be solved. In ancient Egypt, sleep and dreams were deeply connected to the spiritual world. The Egyptians believed dreams could contain messages from the gods. Some people would seek guidance through dreams before making important decisions. Special places known as dream temples became associated with healing and visions. For them, sleep was not simply a period of rest. It was a moment when humans could receive knowledge that was hidden during waking life. In ancient Greece, dreams were also taken seriously. The Greeks believed dreams could reveal warnings, predictions, or messages from divine forces. People traveled to sacred healing centers hoping that dreams would provide answers about illness and the future. One of the most famous figures connected to this belief was Asclepius, the Greek god of healing. Those seeking cures would sleep in sacred spaces, hoping for a dream that revealed the path to recovery. But these beliefs were not limited to Egypt and Greece. Across the world, humans developed their own explanations for the strange experience of sleep. Some cultures saw dreams as journeys of the soul. Others believed dreams connected humans with ancestors. Some believed the sleeping mind could visit places that the physical body could never reach. Different civilizations had different answers. But they all noticed the same strange truth. Something important was happening while humans slept. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that ancient people were not completely wrong about the importance of sleep. They did not understand the brain in the way we do today. They did not know about neurons, memory processing, or the stages of sleep. But they recognized something that modern science would later confirm. Sleep changes us. Something happens during those silent hours. Something we cannot see. Something we cannot feel. Something that continues working even when the rest of the world believes we are doing nothing. But there was another mystery. If sleep was so important, why did humans experience something as strange as dreams? Why would the mind create entire worlds while the body remained still? Why would we see faces, places, and stories that do not exist? And why did almost every civilization throughout history believe dreams carried meaning? Perhaps the answer is hidden in the greatest mystery of all. The human mind itself. Because while ancient civilizations looked toward gods, spirits, and the supernatural for answers, they were unknowingly observing something much closer. A hidden process happening inside their own brains. If you are enjoying this journey into the forgotten mysteries that shaped humanity, subscribe to Hidden Origin. Every ordinary thing around us has a hidden story waiting to be uncovered. And sometimes, the biggest mysteries are the ones we experience every single day. But to understand why humans sleep and dream, we must go deeper. Not into ancient temples, not into forgotten myths, but into the hidden world inside the human brain. Because the greatest secret of sleep was not what happened after we closed our eyes. It was what was happening inside us all along. For thousands of years, humans looked at sleep and saw mystery. They saw darkness, silence, a moment when the body appeared to stop and the mind disappeared somewhere unknown. But modern discoveries revealed something our ancestors could never have imagined. Sleep was not the absence of activity. It was one of the most active things the human body ever does. While the world around us becomes quiet, a hidden world inside us comes alive. Every night, when we close our eyes, the brain begins a process that is almost impossible to see from the outside. The body may appear still, but inside the skull, billions of tiny cells are communicating, organizing, and repairing. The brain is not shutting down. It is working. One of the first mysteries scientists uncovered was memory. For a long time, humans wondered, why do we remember some experiences forever, while others disappear almost immediately? Why does a skill we struggled with yesterday sometimes feel easier after sleeping? The answer was hidden in the hours when we thought nothing was happening. Sleep helps the brain organize what we experience. It takes the scattered pieces of the day, the conversations, the emotions, the lessons, the discoveries, and it begins sorting them. Like an ancient librarian carefully organizing thousands of forgotten scrolls. But sleep does something even more surprising. It protects who we are. Every experience we have leaves a mark on the brain. Every person we meet, every place we visit, every challenge we overcome. During sleep, the brain decides what information should remain and what should fade away. In a way, every night, we rebuild a small part of ourselves. And this may explain something fascinating about humanity. Our ancestors survived not because they were the strongest creatures. They survived because they learned. They remembered. They adapted. They passed knowledge from one generation to another. The ability to store information became one of our greatest survival tools. And sleep may have been the hidden process that strengthened it. But memory is only part of the story. Because sleep also affects something even more mysterious. Creativity. Throughout history, some of humanity's greatest ideas have appeared after moments of rest. Scientists, artists, and inventors have described waking up with solutions to problems they could not solve while awake. Why? Because when the conscious mind becomes quiet, the brain begins making unexpected connections. It searches through old memories. It combines different ideas. It finds patterns we might never notice during the day. Perhaps this is why dreams have fascinated humans for thousands of years. Because dreams are proof that the mind continues creating even when we are not consciously controlling it. The sleeping brain can build entire worlds. It can create stories. It can replay memories. It can imagine impossible things. And somewhere inside this mysterious process may be one of the reasons humans became the most creative species on Earth. If you're discovering something new about an everyday part of life you never questioned before, subscribe to Hidden Origin. Because the greatest mysteries are often hidden in the things we do without thinking. But sleep does not only transform the mind. It also repairs the body. While we rest, the body performs maintenance that keeps us alive. Damaged cells are repaired. Energy is restored. The immune system is strengthened. The body prepares itself for another day of survival. And suddenly, the ancient mystery begins to make sense. Sleep was never a weakness. It was never wasted time. It was a hidden advantage. A biological system that allowed humans to remember the past, imagine the future, and continue surviving in a dangerous world. The same thing that once made our ancestors vulnerable at night may have been the very thing that helped them become unstoppable. But there is still one question left unanswered. If sleep was so important throughout human history, how did modern civilization change the way we sleep? And did we lose something our ancestors understood? For nearly all of human history, sleep followed the rhythm of the natural world. The sun disappeared. Darkness arrived. The body slowly prepared for rest. And when morning returned, humans woke with the light. For thousands of years, this cycle remained almost unchanged. But then something happened that transformed one of the oldest human behaviors. Humanity learned how to defeat the night. The invention of artificial light changed everything. For the first time, humans could extend the day beyond sunset. Factories could continue working. Cities could remain awake. People could travel, communicate, and create long after darkness arrived. The night was no longer a boundary. It became another opportunity. But this new power came with a hidden cost. The same technology that gave humans more hours also changed the relationship we had with sleep. Our ancestors lived according to the signals of nature. Modern humans often live according to clocks, schedules, and artificial environments. The darkness that once told the body it was time to rest could now be replaced with bright lights and endless activity. And this created a new mystery. If sleep was so important for survival, why did humans create a world that constantly fights against it? Why do we sacrifice the very thing that helps our brains, bodies, and emotions function? Today, millions of people struggle with sleep. Not because sleep became less important, but because the world around us became louder. Screens glow through the night. Work follows us home. Notifications interrupt moments that were once completely silent. The modern world has created something our ancestors never experienced. A constant invitation to stay awake. But there is something fascinating about this story. Even after thousands of years of civilization, our bodies still carry the same ancient programming. The same biological systems that guided early humans still exist inside us. Our brains still respond to light. Our bodies still follow internal rhythms. A part of us still remembers the world our ancestors lived in. This may explain why sleep problems are so common today. We live in a world that has changed faster than our biology can adapt. Our environment transformed in a few generations. But the human body carries instructions written over hundreds of thousands of years. And perhaps the greatest lesson from our ancestors is not that they slept more. It is that they respected sleep. They understood, even without modern science, that rest was not laziness. It was preparation. It was survival. It was the invisible process that allowed humans to face another day. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden origins behind ordinary parts of human life, subscribe to Hidden Origin. Because every habit, every tradition, and every mystery has a story buried beneath the surface. The story of sleep is not just about closing our eyes at night. It is the story of how humans survived darkness, how we adapted to a changing world, and how one of the most ordinary things we do may actually be one of the most extraordinary. But there is still one final mystery. After hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, after countless generations depending on sleep for survival, why do we spend almost 1/3 of our lives unconscious? Why would nature create a process that takes away so much of our time? Unless sleep was never a loss of time at all, maybe it was one of the greatest investments humanity was ever given. Before we continue, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your theory? Leave it in the comments. For thousands of years, humans looked at sleep and wondered, why do we disappear every night? Why does the body become still while the mind enters another world? Why would nature create a process that takes away nearly 1/3 of our lives? At first, sleep looked like a weakness. A moment when humans became vulnerable. A time when predators could approach. A time when we could no longer fully control what happened around us. But the deeper we looked, the more surprising the truth became. Sleep was never a weakness. It was one of humanity's greatest advantages. It helped our ancestors survive dangerous nights. It helped our brains preserve knowledge. It helped our bodies recover. It helped us imagine, create, and adapt. The thing that appeared to make us powerless was actually making us stronger. Perhaps this is the greatest lesson hidden inside sleep. The most important things in life are not always the things we see happening. Sometimes the greatest transformations happen quietly. In darkness. In moments when nothing appears to be changing. A seed grows beneath the soil before anyone sees the flower. A child develops before the world sees who they will become. And every night, while we believe we are doing nothing, something inside us is rebuilding the person we will become tomorrow. Sleep connects us to every human who came before us. The hunter who rested beside a fire thousands of years ago. The explorer who recovered after a dangerous journey. The ancient civilizations that searched for meaning in their dreams. And every person today who closes their eyes, trusting that morning will come. But perhaps the greatest mystery is not why we sleep. Perhaps the greatest mystery is why we ever believed sleep was simply wasted time. Because sleep is not an escape from life. It is one of the processes that makes life possible. If this journey changed the way you look at something as ordinary as sleep, subscribe to Hidden Origin. Here, we uncover the forgotten stories, hidden origins, and mysteries behind the things that shape human existence. And tell us in the comments. What is one mystery about human life you think we still do not fully understand? Your answer could inspire the next story we uncover. Every night, humanity performs one of its oldest rituals. We close our eyes. We leave the world behind. And for a few hours, we enter a hidden process that has protected, repaired, and transformed us for hundreds of thousands of years. A process that connects ancient humans to modern civilization. A process that reminds us that even the simplest things can hide extraordinary stories. Because behind every mystery is a journey. Behind every journey is a discovery. And behind every discovery, there is an answer. Every question has an answer. If this documentary has changed the way you see history, like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Hidden Origin for more incredible discoveries.